Hello friends, and welcome to day 12 of the Let's Get Blitzed Cocktail Advent Calendar. Yes, that is right. Somehow we've already hit the midway point in this laugh-a-minute ride that we're on together, the Let's Get Blitzed Cocktail Advent Calendar. It's hard to believe that we're already halfway there, and that is part of the reason why I'm just so casual today. Aside from, the achievement of meeting the halfway mark and being Sunday, I was wrapping gifts earlier, and I need to be loose and limber. I need to be able to get around, work all sides of the gift. And I tend to work up a bit of a sweat as I'm trying to watch the YouTube video on how to wrap a gift using only one piece of tape and do it at the same time. That really gets the heart pumping. So, just working off some cows in my cozies. And always I dress to match the shade of the cocktail. So the finished product on this Pomegranate Vodka Old Fashioned is going to be a lovely kind of persimmon, saffron-y tone, if you will, and I think that you will. We are using Georgian Bay Vodka, award-winning. Multiple awards have been won by this delicious bottle of vodka. In fact, in August of 2020, Forbes magazine named it one of the 10 best vodkas in the world. It is made with a unique combination of 2-row malted barley and corn-based vodka. So they take those two products, they mix them together, we get this fantastic vodka that has great flavors of a little bit of vanilla, cereal, spice. That's what we've got kind of going on the palate. We're going to lean into that and celebrate this top-notch vodka in a spirit-forward cocktail, which is an old-fashioned. And no, old-fashions are not just for whiskey, okay? I will tell you about that in a second. We're also gonna be muddling in a bit of orange peel. So we're gonna get some nice, fresh citrusiness, We're going with that, yes. Citrusiness from muddling a couple of strips of this orange peel. Maybe a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit of bitterness we're gonna get in there as well, because we're not gonna scrape off the pith, but we're gonna try not to get too much of it. We don't want it to be overly bitter, but we do wanna get those essential oils out of our orange peel. A little bit of pomegranate juice, our nutmeg syrup, and some fresh pomegranate arils. So we're gonna start with a muddle. So you're gonna need a teaspoon of pomegranate arils into your mixing glass. And we're gonna also do a teaspoon of our nutmeg syrup. And we're serving this in a rocks glass over 1 large cube of ice. We also need a strip at the end for garnish. So as you can see here, I haven't really pulled up much in the way of pith. That's sort of what we're going for here because we don't want it to get too bitter from having that pith in there. We're going to do a second one. And we're just going to muddle these things together until we get some of the juice out of our pomegranate arils, and it should color the cocktail the beautiful red. And we want to make sure it smells fragrant from the citrus oils. Remember, we're just applying kind of medium pressure and twisting to pull out the juices from our pomegranate arils. So an old-fashioned, of course, is often used to describe a cocktail called the old-fashioned, but an old-fashioned is actually short form for old-fashioned whiskey cocktail, because when the word cocktail was first printed back in 1806, it was described as a potent combination of spirits, bitters, sugar, and water. But it is also a fundamental style of cocktail, so you can mix it with space spirits other than whiskey. So this is looking pretty good. We're going to add a teaspoon of pomegranate juice just to enhance the color and bring a little bit more tartness to the cocktail. But we want the Georgian Bay Vodka to really shine, so we're doing 2 full ounces of that. So the standard formula of an old-fashioned style of cocktail is 2 ounces of base spirit, a teaspoon of sweetener, so in this case we're using our nutmeg syrup, a couple dashes of bitters, and then we're going to create water by stirring and creating dilution. Speaking of bitters, we need to add 2 dashes of Angostura. There we go. That's going to give us a nice baking spice aroma and kind of help pull together all of the other distinct components of this cocktail. So if you're following along, 2 ounces, now we stir, of base spirit, a teaspoon of sweetener, a couple dashes of bitters, dilution from the stir, which we're doing now, and we're also chilling at the same time. And then we just garnish with that citrus twist. But this style of old-fashioned that I'm making today is more akin to what's called a Wisconsin old-fashioned, which is kind of hard to come by outside of the state of Wisconsin, but is very distinct in that it's often made with brandy, because Wisconsin was largely settled by German immigrants who were big fans of brandy back in Europe and brought their love of that particular spirit to North America. So we are going to add 1 large ice cube, and then we are going to double strain to keep any of that pulpiness out from our muddled pomegranate and orange twists. But look at this fabulous color that we have here. Perfection. And now we will garnish with an orange twist. So the Wisconsin Old Fashioned, aside from being made with brandy, often includes muddled fruit, most often orange, like the actual flesh of the orange, not just the citrus peel. Sometimes even pineapple. They get a little crazy. And then they top it off with Sprite or 7-Up or sparkling water. So it is quite unique from the classic old fashioned. I feel like I want a nicer twist, so I'm gonna just pull another strip. And then we're gonna clean up the edges. So that's kind of what makes it distinct. And in terms of the lemon lime soda that's in there, the muddled fruit, part of that was a byproduct of Prohibition making top-notch distilled spirits hard to come by. So in order to match the flavor of bathtub distillations, they would, we're just gonna run this around the rim of the glass, then drop it in, do a little twist if you want to. So yeah, they would add that lemon lime soda and the muddled fruit to disguise the less than stellar flavor of bathtub distilled spirits. Cheers. So what makes this one similar is that I have muddled some fresh fruit, added some things that are not typically included in a classic version of an old fashioned. So this is more of a Wisconsin old fashioned, made of course with our Georgian Bay Vodka. Ugh, it smells amazing on the nose. Tons of that citrus oil hits you as soon as you put your nose in the glass. And then you get those kind of notes of that cereal and spice from the vodka, a little bit of tartness from your pomegranate, and then just the finishing touch of the baking spice from your Angostura aromatic bitters. But the reason that we stir instead of shake, because typically when we're involving fruit juice in a cocktail, we'll shake to make sure that the ingredients are fully emulsified. In this case, we wanted to muddle, much like in the preparation of the Wisconsin Old Fashioned, because I wanted to preserve that silky smooth mouthfeel that you get from stirring the cocktail. So that's sort of the logic behind this process here today. This may be some of your first time having a vodka Old Fashioned. Oof. That is yummy. Again, it is really critical if you're making a spirit forward cocktail like the Old Fashioned that you use a premium base spirit. So in this case, Georgian Bay Vodka, really the definition of affordable luxury, because it has won so many awards. It has received that recognition from Forbes magazine as being one of the top 10 vodkas in the world. Only $34.95 at the LCBO. So again, affordable luxury, great price point, fantastic product, and gives us a fantastic foundation for this vodka, pomegranate vodka old fashioned. So cheers. Hope you join me. As you can see, look, I'm coordinated, people. I told you. The cozies, part of the ensemble. We're an ensemble cast. Tipple and the Tipple. The Tipple and the Tipple. It's a whole thing. It's a whole look. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow for day 13.